In this video, you will learn how to use Zapier Canvas. So we'll be building our very advanced automation that contains, for example, interfaces, tables, and zaps. And actually this lesson is a part of my Zapier masterclass. You can check it in the description of this video. So feel free to check it out. And now let's get into the material. So in this lesson, we'll create another complex automation with using Zapier Canvas that will actually contain the Zapier tables, interfaces, a few zaps, and a lot of different components. So in this lecture, we'll create a system that will manage the situation when our employee would like to take the time off in the job. So for this case, we'll set up everything from start to finish. And now let me explain you quickly what this automation will do. So firstly, in this automation, we start with the Zapier interfaces. So we've got the landing page for our team. So here, let me show you it very quickly. So there we've got simple landing page with, for example, some random project. Here the links to the time of request, Slack channel, and Asana project. So here the automation starts whenever the person clicks on this link, and then this person is redirected to the simple Google Forms, when we should provide the name, last name, amount of the days, start date, or even time of type. So after the interfaces step, we create the zap with the trigger, which is Google Forms. So whenever we have any submission, we trigger the zap. And after that, we save this data from the Google Forms to the Zapier tables. And the table pretty much looks like this. So we've got the name, last name, amount of the days, start date, time of type. So this exact information we had in the Google Forms, and also the status that later on will update in our automation. After these two steps, so interfaces and the zap, we actually split this automation into 3 different paths based on the length of time off. So the first one path is all about the 1 to 4 days, and then we've got the zap. So whenever the new form is submitted, we trigger this action. Next, we apply the filter that will handle this one amount. So we exactly decide how much days we have here. And lastly, we update the status of the specific request. So we type proceed and the status. And then at the end, in the period 1 to 4 days, we notify our team members about the time off. So about the specific person that is taking the time off. Next, we've got the path which is specified for the 5 to 12 days. So firstly, we discuss about impacted project and we adjust the timelines. So the manager is doing that. I'm actually with the team and we spent 1 hour for that. And after doing it, again, we've got pretty the same zap as here. Nevertheless, what only changes is the filter, because here we've got other values, so other amount of the days. So here we need to apply different filter. Nevertheless, also at the end, we just set the status to proceed. And the last one path will be about the 13 to 21 days. So firstly, we discuss about the impacted projects. So the manager is doing that with the team. We've got 30 minutes and we actually decide if you want to accept the time off. If yes, we send pretty the same zap, only again the filter really changes. If not, we reject the time off and the manager is doing that. And actually this is pretty the entire automation. So we'll set everything up from scratch. So we'll create the interfaces, we'll create the zaps, also the tables. And it will be another amazing use case how we can use this powerful tool, so the Zapier Canvas. So let's get into it and create this exact automation. Let's start from scratch. And here, don't use any template. We would need now to add the Zapier interfaces. So even we can type, take time off, link clicked. So kind of we set up our interface about that. So we create the interface. And here inside we can create our landing page for our team. So for instance, let's design something as an example. I can start with the simple table. So I can connect data with some random table. So here it doesn't really matter. We can add the component. So here, for instance, we would like to have like our landing page with the table and some links. And the first one will be all about time of request. So we'll use our interface to trigger our entire automation. So whenever the person fulfills the form, and by clicking right here on this link, we trigger everything, and afterwards we do again our entire automation that will contain a lot of different components. So here, time of request, I can provide a description, so please fill the form to ask for time off. We can go ahead, provide the emoji, and now just leave it for now. Afterwards, of course, we'll connect it with the Google Forms. So we'll kind of do this connection. So anytime the person click on the specific link on the landing page, will be redirected to the Google Forms. Also, I added additional links for the Slack channel and Asana project because I wanted it looks like more our landing page for our team. Also there, I can change the page name. So for instance, landing page time off, kind of something like that. And here I can go ahead to my Zapier canvas. So there, let me pick my interface. So there we have it. Also, I can choose the page. So landing page time off. And there we've got our components. The next step will be to actually add the Zap to our automation. So simply we can do it by this way. And here we would like to trigger the action whenever we receive any submission inside of the Google Forms. So we can create the Zap, even name it. So for this case, employee request time off, kind of like that. We can go here, open the Zap. There's set the trigger, which will be Google Forms. So this is the place where our automation really starts. So yeah, we'll also kind of connect it with our interfaces. So new form response, continue. And now we need to create the proper form. So let's start with the blank form. Pick the name of that, which will be, for instance, time off. Kind of. Yeah, we've got it. We can pick firstly the field, which will be the name, and it will be the short answer. Next, we've got the last name. So yeah, we need to just provide the fields for some basic information. For this case, I would like to go over with the field about the amount of the days that the worker and the employee requires. So here, amount of the days. After that, we've got the start date. And this field will be overall the date, yeah? So automatically it chose it for us. Next, the time of type. So let's say we'll have some options with the drop down. So for instance, vacation, for instance, sick, personal, and let's even add other case. So yeah, kind of like that. And here we can go over ahead, send this form, copy the link, and here open in the new browser and fulfill the information. So I have my name, my last name, amount of days, which will be 12, start date, so let's go over from the Tuesday, and time of type, let's say personal. Let's go over with that. Let's submit the form. And yeah, your response has been recorded. Let's go back to our Zap, refresh the fields, and pick time off. We can test the trigger. And we've got our form response. So last name, time of type, yeah, amount of days, name, yeah, we've got it. And next, what we can do? We can go ahead and we can save this data with the Zapier tables. So yeah, for this case, we'll be picking the create record, continue, and here we need to create our table. So let's simply click on that. We can click on open in tables, and there just provide our data that we need. So let's go here, edit the field. which will be the name, and it will be the text. Save. Next, we've got the last name. Last name. We can add the field, which will be also the text. So, for instance, amount of days. Also, we had the field, which is the start date. So, start date. Yeah, and we've got a date. So, kind of, we are just creating our entire table from scratch. So, yeah, time of type. And at the end, let's go ahead with the status. So, status. And now we've got everything created. Even we can name the table, so the time of. And now go ahead back to our Zap. Pick our table. So refresh that. Table time off. So we've got a name. Our last name. Amount of the days. So here 12. Start date. Yeah, so we've got it. Time off. Personal, and yeah, definitely we've got it. We can click on the continue. That's the step. Yeah, so it worked. This is pretty everything. We can publish the Zap. After that, go over back to our canvas. Even change the name, so time off. Yeah, and even now we can refresh the page and see our Zap, which is set up. And now we can add actually the step to split our path. So there we can go over ahead and provide different paths. And they will be all about the length of the time. So here, length of time off. And there I would like to have 3 different paths. The first one will be for the 1 to 4 days. The second one from the 5 to 12 days. And the third one for actually 13 to 21 days. So yeah, we would like to proceed different actions based on the length of the time off. For this case, let me even very quickly do it by this way. And this kind of the form. And now, actually, we can go and proceed with the 1 to 4 days path. So for this case, I would like actually to save the data so that the specific person, so the employee is taking a break. So I would like to create a Zap for that case. I can name it time off is noticed and saved. Yeah, I can go ahead to the details. Actually created a Zap. So here I can open the Zap right there. Start with the forms. So Google Forms. And trigger this action whenever we've got the new form response. So we pick the time off. And we would like to check how many days are here actually inside our information. So for this case, we would like to pick the filter by Zapier. Yeah, so for this case, we would like to pick only continue if amount of days are less than 5. So we'll take the value from 1 to 4. So we can click on the continue. So we can notice in the form we've got 12 days, so it works. And then what we do, we update our table. So kind of we choose the table by Zapier. And we would like to change the status to proceed. So I can go over ahead, update the record, continue, table ID, so time off. We can pick the record ID, which will be this one, and provide the status to proceed. Click on the continue and test the step. So yeah, we've got it. And now we can publish the Zap. So we've got this step in the canvas. We can go here and actually add the next one, default step right there, to notify our team members about time off. Yeah. So we would like to do this by this way. We can pick the details. So pick the application, which will be the Slack. Yeah, do it by this way. And now even let's refresh it. So we've got this up. And here we can go ahead with the time, which is 5 to 12 days. So for this case, we would like to actually discuss about actually impacted projects that are under this person. So for example, this person is working in the project, and definitely we need to talk about them and what will change, how much time, for instance, we need to even add to accomplish the project because this person is taking from 5 to 12 days and so on. So actually I can go over ahead and define exactly the person even. So I can type, let's type manager, and the time spent, which will be 1 hour to do this stuff. So discuss about impacted project and adjust timelines. And after that, I would like to add the step, which will be again for this kind of similar Zap. So I would like to take the Zap and just provide it right there. Nevertheless, remember that here we've got the specific filter for this one value, so 1 to 4 days. So what we can do, we can create another Zap, so the copy of that, and afterwards adjust this one field. So let me do the stuff. And now, for instance, let me rename it. So this will be kind of time off 1, or even let's type 1 to 4 days. I can go ahead and duplicate the Zap. And there, for instance, let's go ahead, rename it to 5 to 12 days. And now let's go over and change the filter, so it will be less than 13, because we've got from 5 to 12 days, so less than 13, continue. Yeah, it works. We can publish that. And now even create another copy, which will be for the days from 13 to 21. So for this case, let's rename it 13 to 21 days. And here provide this one value. So provide 22 days, and overall I forgot to add another one condition, because we would like to have the days that are less than 22, however greater than 12. So for this case condition, again, amount of the days. Here I can go ahead with the greater than, and right now provide the value which will be 12. So it will take, for this case, this one exact number, and it works because we don't have the greater number than 12. And also adjust previous Zap. So right there, provide another condition. Do it very fast, so amount of the days condition, which will be greater than, and here we can provide the 4 because we would like to have from 5 to 12 days. Continue, and yeah, it works. We can publish that. So during this step, let me actually copy this sentence. So I will know this is pretty the same. Provide the details, so search for the Zap, and here I can't see that, so I need to refresh the page. And right now it should be visible. So yeah, we've got it. So this one. So we have our Zap, and there we'll have the last one path for our automation, which will be to discuss about impacted projects. And here with this case, we would like to actually decide if we want to accept this one time off from our actually employee. So here I can go ahead, provide the sentence which is accept time off, question mark, and here we'll have the yes or no. And here when we have no, we would like to reject time off, And let's say the manager will have this uncomfortable activity. So yeah. And there for the yes, we would like to pick this up. So here again, time off is noticed as saved. And there are details. So we pick the zap that we created. So time off 13 to actually 21 days. And this is pretty everything. So we created this one automation by this way. Of course, remember that you can just put it into nicer form. For example, like this. It looks much better. Also here I can add the manager and let's say 30 minutes, kind of like that. So yeah, we've got our entire visualization and actually the entire automation created. Also remember that with the Zapier canvas, you don't really need to actually create your zaps, your tables, interfaces. You just can create the outline for the automation. So here, don't connect it, just provide the interface, zap, without the steps. However, you will have in mind what you would like to provide there, and provide the paths, again the zaps, and so on and so on. So kind of spend only several or a few minutes to create the entire outline for your entire automation, how it should look like, and after doing that, you will have the entire concept in mind of what you would like exactly to create.